Hi everyone, in this video I want to show you how to install a range hood. There's a lot of tips and tricks that I want to reveal in this video, so make sure you watch it till the end before you actually touch your range hood. Also in separate videos I explained how to install each and every one of these appliances that you can see in this kitchen. So if you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe and also watch those videos if you want to. I'll leave the links to those videos in the descriptions in case you're interested. Before any further ado, let's get to the installation part. This is how we got this house off of the builder's hand. As you can see, there's a vent to the outside. There's also an electrical wire that is hanging down. So I decided to remove the box cover from the electrical box that was left by the builders. I have a wire stripper that has a live circuit detector at the end of it. So I used that to see if this circuit is live, and as you can see, that red light at the end of that wire stripper is blinking. That means this circuit is live. So I went to the electrical panel and turned off the breaker to it. This way the power to that wire is going to be off and it's safe to work with. As you can see, the light is not blinking anymore, so it's safe. And then I unscrewed the ground wire from the box and removed the entire cable out. And then I removed the range hood from the packaging, and this is a close-up look of the wall that we're going to be working with. This is the center part of the wall. As you can see, the builder installed that vent offset about 4.5 inches. The ceilings are 10 foot high here, so the first thing I did after opening the box, I stacked up the vent covers and then I measured them. In my case, this is around 37 inches. This is a step number one. Make sure you don't skip this, especially if you're working with 10 foot or higher ceilings. So basically the maximum space that I can have from the ceilings to the top part of this range hood is going to be 37 inches in my case, and only with this vent cover. But I decided to go with 36 inches just to be on the safe side. So when I expand these two covers at the max, I'm not going to have any gap in between them, or maybe at the very top of it between the ceiling and the top part of the vent cover. Some range hood come with a longer vent cover, or if you have 12 foot ceilings or higher, you can always order a different size if you want to. In my case, this is going to work out, so I am going to be using this. So I went ahead and left a mark at 36 inches below the ceiling line. So this way, after installing it, I'm going to have the proper height between the top part of the range hood and the ceilings. I also measured to see how high the range hood is going to be from the countertop. And in my case, it was 34 inches, which is good. You normally want this to be between 28 to 36 inches. There's a template inside the box that indicates the location of the holes for the mounting bolts. So I put the template on my backsplash a little bit higher than the mark that I left previously, and then I taped it down. As you can see, I didn't use a level. I just lined it up with the ground lines that I had here. I definitely recommend you to use a level and make sure that that template is sitting nice and straight in place. This is a close-up look of the template. The arrows at the bottom shows the location of the bottom part of the vent. This is going to be the center line, and these two marks show the exact location of the mounting bolts. As you can see, I lined them up with my grout line here. So when I'm drilling it out, I'm not going to break my tiles. This is going to be the actual center line, but as you can see, the vent is sitting offset. For that reason, I offset my center line about 1.5 inch. I also double checked to make sure that my vent cover is going to completely cover the vent once it's installed. I used my stud finder and I couldn't locate any studs where the bolts are going to be. So in this case, I have to use anchors to attach the hood to the wall. I used a 1/4 inch masonry bit and my SDS drill to drill 2 holes on the marks that I have. Inside the package, I got 4 anchors like this one. In my case, this range hood is not that heavy, so I am going to use these. But if your range hood is too heavy and you don't have the option to mount it to the studs, make sure you use something heavy duty like these ones. I put the anchors in and then I tap them with my hammer so they sit nice and flush against the tiles. Inside the package, I also had these screws, and these are designed to hold the range hood in place. I drove them into the anchors, but I stopped about 1/2 inch away from the wall. So this way I can install the range hood on it, and then I can tighten up these screws. Then I put the range hood in place and I step back to take a look and see if it's lined up with my grout lines. Keep in mind, in this kitchen, the grout lines were level, so I didn't use a level. I just lined it up with them. If in your case you don't have anything there, make sure you check it with a level. This specific range hood had to be fastened to the wall using 4 screws like the ones that I put on the top. While that back template is still in place and I'm happy with the location of the range hood right now, I left 2 other marks on the top of that paper, and that's going to be indicating the location of the other last screws. So I removed the range hood, I drilled these holes again, I put the anchors in, and then I placed the range hood back in place and tightened up all these screws. This is a close-up look of it. As you can see, the range hood is sitting very nice and flush against the back wall. All those 4 screws are in place and it's sitting nice and tight and secure in place. Now it's time to vent this to the outside of the house. You might get an adapter like this one in your package. This normally sits on top of the range hood and it needs to be screwed down from 2 spots to the actual body of the range hood. I put that in place and then I cut myself a piece of galvanized pipe to the size that I needed. This is how I cut it with my tin snip, and this is how it goes on together. This piece is supposed to sit on top of that adapter to connect the elbow to the outside part of the house. As you can see, I put it in place, pushed it as far down as I could, and then I put that elbow in place. I placed the elbow inside the outside pipe, and then I pushed this bottom pipe back up into that elbow. This way it's nice and secure in place. Now it's time to tape up all those seams with aluminum tape. It's very important, make sure you tape all these seams. These range hoods are strong, and if you turn it on, it might actually blow the whole connection if it's not taped up nice and proper. This is how it looks like after the taping job is done. It's time to get to the electrical. There's a screw holding this cap onto this electrical box. We need to remove it to have access to these 3 wires. To prep this box for our electrical connection, we have to remove that knockout that is sitting on the top part of that box. I normally move it up and down a few times and it comes right off. And then I like to use this connector to connect my wires to this box. As you can see, I already stripped my wire and it's all prepped up. So I slide this connector right on top of it so it sits nice and tight. Now we're ready to connect this to the box. All you need to do is to pinch it and push it inside the hole. After it's in, I like to tidy up my wire first before I actually connect the wires together. I always begin by connecting the ground wires together first. Basically, I'm going to be connecting the green to the bare wire. I start by twisting these 2 wires together by hand, and then I use this wire nut to tighten it up nice and proper. When you're done twisting it, give it a pull test just to double check that it's sitting nice and secure. You want to also double check your wires. You want to make sure that your wires are turned around each other for at least 2 turns. That's the right way to install this. And then I repeat the same process to connect the white wire to the white and the black wire to the black. Once I was done with connecting the wires, I pushed them down inside the box and reinstalled the cover. Before I put the vent cover on, I went and turned on the breaker to see if it's functioning nice and proper. It was working perfect, so it's time to install the vent cover. In order to install that vent cover, there's a bracket that needs to be installed first, and then the vent cover can get attached to that. I had to drill 2 holes so I can attach that bracket to the wall. After removing the plastic from the vent covers, the piece that has these cutouts is going to be sitting in the bottom, and the piece that has that grill shape on the top is going to be installed on the very top part. I like to assemble it on the ground. Basically, I put these 2 together, making sure the one that has the grill shape to it is in the inside. So it's finally time to put the vent cover on. I put it in place, and then I extend that top part all the way to the ceiling, and then I put in the screws that is going to be holding this to the bracket. At this point, the installation is done, so if you clean it up with a microfiber cloth, it's going to be ready to use. As far as the cleaning, make sure you wash the filters on the bottom part of it at least once a month so it stays nice and clean, and make sure every time you clean it with a microfiber cloth and a cleaner that is rated for stainless steel. In separate videos, I also explained how to install each and every one of these appliances that you can see in this kitchen. So if you're interested, please make sure you watch those videos as well. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. So every time I post a new video, you're going to be the first person to know about it. Thank you very much. Till next time, peace.